Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be diving into the world of Rocket League with a beginner's guide to help you get started. Whether you are completely new or just looking to brush up your skills, this video is for you. Let's jump right in. First up, let's talk about basic controls. If you're using controller, here's what to know. The tutorial does teach you some of these things, but I would definitely recommend not copying down pro players' controls because they're very hard to learn and some of the controls are very weird that pros use, but it is a normal thing for most people. I don't because I do freestyling, but if you are trying to play more ranked, I would recommend putting like the boost, which is standard on B. I would recommend putting it like on one of your bumpers or something over by there, because that can help a lot, especially with speed flips, which is something you'll learn later. But of course, there's front flips, back flips, all directions. But a half flip is one of the most important things, which is like if you're trying to go back this way on the field, if you do a backflip and then pull up on your stick, you land like that. You land upside down, which is also called a turtle position. But if you press whatever buttons your air roll, which you can move in settings, you can rotate and turn around. So when put all together, it looks like this. And also, you can watch tutorials on like wave dashes. It's not something you'll need in the lower ranks, but it is something that's nice to know. So this is what it looks like from the side. I don't know how to do it at the same time since I'm on controller. But as soon as you see, like, if I'm wave dashing this way, I want to angle my car and then flip the opposite direction. Since I'm tilting right, I'm gonna flip left. And then if I hold power slide, then you'll go further, which you can use to recover. But power slide is something you should be pretty comfortable with using, because you want to be able to, like, if you're landing sideways, if you're not pressing it, it almost stops you instantly. But if you're pressing it, then you keep going, and then you can recover it with a half flip or whatever and keep your speed. So you're saving a lot of boost. Which, that's most of the basic movement. Camera settings, these settings you can copy, but they are primarily freestyling settings. For ranked, I would say that copying down a pro settings is a good thing to do, or look up like just settings in general. Especially these settings too. These are mainly for freestyling. One thing I will say though is that your frames per second, if you're on PC of course, set it to whatever is recommended, because if you put it on unlimited, you'll have it's called a 1% low, where your FPS will drop a lot. So you'll go from it being smooth to very choppy. It's like lagging, but it's not lag. It's arguably better than lag, but still not something you want. And on controller too, always the settings automatically on. I can't find it. It's called vertical sync or VSync. It makes it so that your screen doesn't tear, which is a good thing, but it also can increase input delay. So it can like make it so your movements are less precise, because it is very like, this is very scaled up, but it could be something, I've seen it be as bad as like you press a button on your controller like boost or turn or jumping or flipping or whatever, and it'll take a few seconds to do it after, which can partially be lag, but VSync does add a little bit of delay. So I definitely recommend turning it off. And also, before hopping in like anything, if you're just downloading it, I would definitely recommend just going in free play or custom training packs and find like really easy ones and just get comfortable with having ball cam on and like hitting it around and get comfortable and like try to understand how your car moves so that you can learn a lot of the basic movements, so that you can learn stuff like, this is like a very simple thing, but I didn't learn it, which held me back a lot when I was into competitive, which is if the ball is rolling on the ground like this, it is rolling, you're better off driving into it to get more power than you are like flipping into it, because give it a sec, flipping into it you get way less power, which sometimes you want because you want it to stay on the ground, but yeah, most times, especially by like your backside, you are better off if the ball is rolling to just drive into it. But if it's bouncing like this, wait till it's bouncing up, then flip into it. Of course, assuming that you're trying to bang it out, but you could also, from that position, drive under the ball. And if you have good car control, you can just keep it on top of your car. When you're ready, do like any kind of flip, like this, diagonal flips, front flips, even back flips work, but you won't get, they'll mainly go up, as you can see, mainly goes up. And when you're dribbling, keep in mind that you don't want to be in car cam, and car cam is when ball cam isn't on. I call it car cam, other people call it other things. Can't think of what one of the things is, but yeah. And Rocket League is one of those games that does take time, but watching tutorials on how to do things will help a lot. So it is very worth it if you're trying to learn something to look at a tutorial. And I would very strongly recommend that you play on controller if possible, because keyboard and mouse, yes, it's possible to play on, of course, but it's a lot harder. Because I did try to learn keyboard and mouse when I first started playing, which I could play the game, but as soon as I switched to the controller, I became a lot better. Because on keyboard and mouse, you can't have stuff. You can only flip in, how many directions is it? You can only flip in 8 directions. Unlike controller, where I can do sharp turns, I can turn in any way I want. Compared to WASD, where you can only turn full, no turn, or halfway. But controller, you have quarter, 8, all those individual little bits. So that is something that helps lots, especially for like trying to just learn how to hit the ball and stuff. And one of the main things that will help you rank up is learning how to bang it. Bang it towards the net accurately. And of course there is workshop maps, which once you get to about silver or gold, I would very much recommend. If you're just downloading it, wouldn't recommend at all, because they are sometimes and very occasionally hard to do. I'll pull up one really quick. You can do this on Epic and Steam. Steam, there's just Steam Workshop. Epic, you can download a mod on Bacchus Mod, which is what I have, so that I can play any of them, which I'm not going to go into full detail about. If you want a video on how to do that, I will post that. Let me know in the comments. But that is something that can help with aerial control and all these others. And now I'm gonna hop into positioning. positioning can very much make or break your game. Since I'm a freestyler, I know some positioning, of course, because I do play ranked occasionally. And the main premise of it is, if let's act like someone is right here, okay? The enemy, the opposing team, their players right here, right? They're sitting right there. If I'm rotating correctly, I'm gonna be right here, so that if they shoot it, I can jump and save it and hit it towards the corner. But let's say, oh shoot, they miss. Then I can turn, and now I can attack. So rotating is basically being in a position where you are on defense and offense. So if right here, if I am on defense, which is the main time you use rotations, offense rotations are very complicated. I don't know how to describe them. But if they're attacking, you never want to sit in the middle of the net. That's just a big rule of thumb. Especially when you are in the lower ranks, you don't want to make this a habit. Because let's say they shoot it top right, now I have to turn. It's a lot harder. Or if they hit it backboard, how am I supposed to get all the way up there without using boost? But back post, which is here, if they miss, I can go for the ball. Or if they hit it like up here, you can drive on the back wall and hit it, which is very useful. But sitting in the middle of the net isn't gonna be able to do it. Which, yes, you can attack from there and play offense from that position, but you are a lot better off sitting back post, so that if they hit it high, now you're backboard and you can hit it off. Or if they shoot it, then you can most of the time barely hit it, and it'll send it flying into the corner. Then you want to stay, then you can make offensive attack, which in the lower ranks is mainly just a shot on net. But when you get to the higher ranks, I would strongly recommend gold and plat. You don't really need to do it. You can kind of just shoot the ball into the net with power and it'll work. But when you get to diamonds, champ, and those kind of ranks, it's not like, I don't want to be shooting from all the way over here. You want to try to dribble, keep the ball close, and get closer to the net, so that it's a lot easier for you to make the shot in. Right now I'm just freestyling. But yeah, that is something to keep in mind, that it is sometimes a lot better to get close to the net before you shoot, because you're a lot more likely to score. And in the lower ranks, if someone has a dribble, don't be scared of it, because 99% of the time, they're gonna mess it up somehow. They're either gonna drop it down like that, or they'll get one of those flicks where you just don't get any power, which is something you can easily avoid, so that you don't make the mistake of that when you're dribbling, is making it so the ball is more towards the front of your car. Because when it's over here is when those people make the mistakes. It's because it's all the way back here. So when I'm flipping, it's not catching it. You're just flipping in front of the ball. Also, some things to keep in mind are that demos are something that is very useful in situations, like if you're rotating, so like coming back here to be able to save a shot. If you're rotating, it is something where it's like, if you see the opponent waiting midfield and I'm rotating and they're sitting mid, you want to turn into them and try to bump or demo, so that they don't just get an easy pass. that is something, but you don't want to be chasing them the entire game, because then you're not helping your teammate at all. Which in most ranks, you cannot trust your teammate. I mean, you should to a degree, especially if you're like playing with them and you're like, dang, this guy is really good. Then you can trust them a lot. So you can trust them with like passes and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, that was a mouthful. Some things to practice is consistency, and especially if you are trying for freestyling is when consistency matters a lot. Competitive, it also matters, so it is something that you really want to practice. But for freestyling, you don't want to be like you're platinum and practicing flip resets, which is something you'll hit. If you're not consistent at it, you'll hit it like 1 out of 20 times. And in that rank, something simpler, like just hitting the ball off the wall, like this, is a lot better. So that is something to keep in mind, is that you don't want to be learning all these complicated mechanics, especially in the lower ranks. So you want to try to focus towards the basics and not resets, musty flicks, breezies, which of course I know all of them because I am a freestyler, which freestyling is where you focus on mechanics only and trying to use creativity to make the coolest shot you can. So that is something to just keep all of it in mind. But when you go to playlist, the ones that will help you improve the most is definitely 1v1s. Doesn't matter if you want to do comp or casual. You can tell I don't play 1v1s because I'm not gonna lie, for 99% of people, they find it very hard and annoying, and it's very easy to get frustrated with. So I do casual because it's less frustrating, and 2v2 is what you will most likely hit the highest rank in. 3s is what the competitive scene is on, so if you're going for RLCS, which is like the highest level of tournament, then yeah, that's something you should practice. But if you're just going for improvement, I would stick to 2s and some 1s, 1v1s. The limited time game modes, they're fun to play with friends, but they won't help you improve too much. Of course you will improve, because if you're driving your car around, you're improving, because you're understanding it more. For competitive, I don't play really any of the Rumble, Hoops stuff. Hoops does help a lot with aerialing, same with drop shot. Rumble, I personally do not recommend, because it is mainly luck based on like the power-ups and stuff, partially skill. And gotta keep in mind that if you hate doing 1v1s, 2v2s, and 3v3s, yes, you can play them and gain skill. But the thing is, you'll gain it a lot faster in something like 1v1s or 2v2. Which, Diamond 2 is a pretty good rank. It's what most of the Rocket League people are in. It's like Diamonds 1 or 2 is the most common rank. So, but I don't focus on rank because there's not many people that can flip reset in Diamonds. So, of course, play those game modes if you're trying to get better at ranked. But if you're trying to get better at freestyling, free play and private matches are what I would strongly recommend. And 1v1s. And some 2s, of course. But 1v1 is where you're gonna have the most fun as a freestyler, because there's only one person that can try to defend your shots. Instead of there being two, where one guy can be jumping up, trying to hit you or whatever, while the other guy just sits in net. And in 2v2 you get a lot less opportunities, because you'll have a lot less space, which space is like, if the opponent's all the way over here and you're dribbling, that's a lot of space, which means if I'm attacking or playing offense, I have all this room to set up whatever I want. And if they're not going to go for it, I could just set it right somewhere where it's good, and then do this. But if they know how to challenge the ball, like if I'm over here turning in on it, if they know how to do that, then you don't get as much space. But it's the time it takes before the challenge happens is space. Or the distance from that person challenging to the ball is what space is. But that's all I really have for Rocket League Basics. Let me know in the comments what videos you would like to see next. And one last thing, you want to try and stick to what you want. So, like, decide at the start if you want to do ranked or freestyling. And of course you can change this, but if you're in between, you'll get mid at both of them. Instead of it being, wow, I'm really good at ranked, but my freestyling's decent. Because there's no one that I've ever seen that is a pro freestyler and is a pro Rocket League player. So that is all I have to say for Rocket League Basics. Please subscribe or give the video a thumbs up and leave comments on videos you would like to see next. And I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye.